the Bills, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Patriots. Patriots most recently acquiring a new running back, Zeke Elliott. But let's talk about the win total.
Football Wife's still here, so that's good.
Hey, Football Wife hanging strong with us.
Pat's going to the Super Bowl. So apparently the NFL is now like the English Premier League, where you can go down a division and then still call it like a championship.
Yeah. It's relegation, and then you win the championship to come back up to the big leagues.
That's what the Pats need right now.
Buffalo Bills regular season win total 10.5 over under the 130 minus 134 for 10.5 on the over. The Miami Dolphins over under 9.5 wins. That is even across over and under. So both minus 110 for 9.5 wins on the Dolphins. New England Patriots over under set under 7.5 is minus 142. And the New York Jets, the other New York team here, is over under set at 9.5. Over 9.5 is minus 122, which maybe, and we'll talk about this in our predictions and stuff. And let me get into the divisions, but I'm going to come back to that here in one quick second. Division-wise, the Bills are plus 120 to win this division. Jets are right behind them at plus 250. Miami plus 290 in third place, and New England Patriots plus 800 to win the division. So people still think it's going to be pretty tight across the top between the Bills, Jets, and Dolphins. Obviously, the New York Jets coming in. Let's start with the New York Jets. Jets coming in, getting Aaron Rodgers, most recently picking up Dalvin Cook, which, they have a nice little running back tandem after Breece Hall coming back from the ACL injury. So we have kind of a double-headed running back combo there. And then you have some interesting young players across the board. You got Sauce Gardner on the back end. You got Garrett Wilson on the wide receiver, which we think is going to have a breakout season this season from a fantasy perspective within our fantasy focus that we already covered. However, Scotty, I don't know why. I just feel maybe I'm like super close to the, like, how teams kind of match up. You got the Jets, the Mets, and the Nets. And then you got the Giants, the Rangers, the Yankees on the other side. You're split a little bit, right? Okay. I don't know what it is about the Jets that I just feel like they're just the Mets in a different sport. Like, I just feel like they're always just finding ways to lose. And I think, like, given all the high circumstances of what the Mets did this year with adding all the pieces they added in the offseason, making the splash, I mean, and now look where they're at. I feel like, I don't know why I'm just in that zone of the Jets do the same thing in the offseason. They make a splash. They add a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. They add Dalvin Cook. They have a lot of talented pieces, much like the Mets did going into the season. And I don't know why I feel like, and this is totally just irrational, and I'm not going to actually think this necessarily, but
it sounds like you are, Chris.
I kind of get that vibe. I kind of get that vibe with this team. I don't know why.
What is the vibe?
The vibe is that they're going to underachieve and something terrible is going to go wrong. And halfway through the season, they're going to realize this isn't it. And they're going to finish like third in this division.
I mean, they have a lot of competition in this division.
They do.
So finishing third wouldn't shock me.
I mean, that's not my true analysis. That's just my gut, like in my gut, just feeling. I don't know why.
Off topic, but Football Wife said, thank God Eli Apple is now Miami's problem. Yeah. I mean, Eli Apple just talks a ton of shit and can't back it up. So that's now he's now on his 37th team, and there's only, I don't think there's that many teams in the NFL. So it's shocking that he's played for that many teams.
Yeah, ask the Giants fans how well he was.
Giants, Saints.
Yeah.
Bengals now. He's just tiresome. But going back to the Jets, I don't know. I mean, I like their head coach. I like Robert Saleh.
I do.
Last night, I guess on the new Hard Knocks, he called out the offensive line. I appreciate that. Like, called them out. Like, it doesn't matter if we have a, Hall of Fame QB. It doesn't matter if we have these elite wide receivers, that we have a Pro Bowl running back. By the way, to me, the Dalvin Cook signing is a nothing burger.
And that's what it is to Vegas too. The odds did not change.
Yeah,
And
No,
running
that's
backs,
a nothing.
running
That's
backs shouldn't be changing. Like unless you're, you know,
Dalvin Cook's on the end of his career. Quite frankly, like if Brees Young's healthy, he's better. But I get like supplanting. But my concern almost is like Aaron Rodgers is like, oh, I want to play with this veteran running back towards the end of the year instead of the better option, which is Brees Young.
Brees Hall.
Brees Young.
Brees
Did I
Young.
say Brees Young 8 times over?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Brees Hall.
Well, and part of me
Transfer
is this just Aaron Rodgers? Like, I just, you know, while Brees Hall is coming back, I don't want some random young running back blocking for me, and I could get a better blocking back that's a veteran that can like listen to what I have to say and say, hey, I don't want to be having an injury on week 1 because you don't know how to block for me properly. Like, I think, you know, from a fantasy perspective, I think that, you know, I still think that, you know, Brees Hall drops a little bit. I think Dalvin Cook rises a little bit, but they're about even, if not. It's not really something I want to touch.
If you want to win your league, you don't draft Dalvin Cook.
You don't. I mean, you kind of stay away from
because he's going to be irrelevant at the end of the year.
Yeah, but
he's not going to help you in the playoffs.
From a blocking standpoint,
get you to the playoffs. He might get you to the playoffs. He's not going to help in the playoffs. This Jets team, it's hard. It's hard to figure out what they'll be because there's so many moving parts. You get the new quarterback. Obviously, quarterback play was dog shit last year, and they still won a decent amount of games with a really good defense. I think their defense can't possibly play as well as they did last year. Like, there's no way.
Bless
Bless you.
you. Bless you.
Bless you. How unprofessional.
Oh my
That
God.
came quickly where I couldn't even mute my mic. It came out of nowhere. I mean, they have good pieces on the defense. Obviously, they signed Quinnen Williams in the offseason. That's their, along with Sauce Gardner. Those are the two big names. I think the defense is still going to carry this team, even with Aaron Rodgers. It'll be interesting. I don't know what Aaron Rodgers to predict. You have Aaron Rodgers that won back-to-back MVPs 2 and 3 years ago. Wasn't very good last year. Prior to that, wasn't very good with the Packers. Like, how do you project Aaron Rodgers moving forward? Like, I don't know. And he's not getting younger. He's doing a lot of holistic shit. Maybe that helps. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
In a tougher conference, like he's not making it easier on himself in his later years either. Playing against some of the best teams in the AFC, especially in his own division, like the Bills, the Dolphins, and you. Not to mention all the Bengals, the Ravens, the Jags, the Chiefs, like top to bottom. I mean, he didn't make it.
The AFC so much more.
He didn't make it easier for himself, which again lends itself to like, you know.
Is it wild? It's so wild, and I know I've mentioned this before, that he's won one Super Bowl, but he's only made one Super Bowl. For such an elite quarterback in the league after all these years, he's made one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
One. Mahomes has made 3 already. And he's 100 years younger than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's wild to think, and again, it's
weird. It's weird that he's only made one.
I mean, you consider him one of the all-time greats, and
right,
you know, and I mean, obviously, he could potentially. I mean, he did get one, so I don't know where he ranks when it comes to. Obviously, he's a little bit higher than maybe like a Dan Marino who never won one, or you know, I mean, obviously, when it's all said and done, we could look at his career. Maybe he wins one, you know, in the next year or two. I don't know. He's old, so I don't think that's gonna. It's not.
He's had exactly one offensive line in his career. To be fair, that's not true. That's not true.
I can't sign off on that either.
Over 20 years, he's had one offensive line, and it was the year he won. No.
But I mean, this could be, depending on how things shake out, something that he can try to avoid adding to history. Because right now, the Jets, and hopefully this stays intact, have the longest active playoff drought in the NFL. Last playoff appearance.
No, I want them to make the playoffs. Actually,
was
Now that I
20
think about it.
was 2010. Don't
Oh,
don't
well,
say
we
that.
know.
Second longest active
The
drought.
Jets are making the playoffs this year.
Well,
ladies.
No.
And from a quarterback standpoint, the second longest active drought without a 4,000-yard passer. The last one they had was Joe Namath in 1967, which that's mind-boggling to think. And second longest active drought without Super Bowl or NFL championship appearance. The last one was 1968 versus the Colts. So, like, there's just a lot of bad happening.
Quick question: when they make the playoffs this year,
On to the next team here.
who then has the longest playoff drought in the NFL?
We're not.
What
well,
team? What
So
team?
anyway,
how about we
What
cross that
team
bridge
perhaps
when
would
we
have
get
that?
there? How about we cross that bridge if we get
Who
there?
could it be? Is it the
so I was gonna say with the Aaron Rodgers, yeah, like of course it's a improved quarterback play, but you gotta wonder like if him being, for lack of better terms, toxic, is going to undo the good quarterback, like the
It doesn't-
upgraded quarterback play.
I think he is toxic, but I think
He's having a
him
lot of
going to
fun.
a new team. I think he's having fun with the new team, new personalities, new. It's kind of rejuvenated him where like he's not a dick yet. Eventually
Yes.
that will happen, but this whole
happen
year
sooner.
he could go being dickless this whole year.
Ooh,
Um,
hey-o.
we'll see.
I mean, isn't that how you're kind of living your life?
Dickless? Wait, what?
I've got 3 young children, so I don't think so, Rack.
Well,
We
my
could
goodness.
question you on that matter.
We're getting
though.
Lab After Dark all of a sudden hit real quick. Hey, it hit.
I'm
I'm
zooming
glad it
just
didn't hit with Adriana on here because that would have been a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
That's called the married life. True. Yeah. So it's hard to tell, especially in this division. I mean, obviously Miami and Buffalo. Miami's an interesting one because of Tua and his health. I mean, let's dive into Miami then, I guess. So Miami, if we're looking at this division, plus 290 to win this division, third of these teams, and then Miami is also over under set at 9.5 wins, which is dead even for the across the board. So on that note, I'm going to bed. Great to see you. Thank you, football wife.
Good night.
Honestly, football wife, I'm just thrilled that you were back tonight.
Yes.
I've
Yes.
never missed someone so much. Like I referenced you several times when you weren't here, like being like and don't know what's going on with the family, but hopefully all is well and everything ends up okay or whatever that may be. But appreciate
Speaking
you
of
being
her, where's
here.
the clock?
It's
We know
somewhere.
it's 21
And Chris.
days and 21 hours.
we know. We don't. I mean,
But-
we know. Well, thank you, football
Love
wife.
you, football wife. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging with us. And I'm just glad
Yeah.
you're back because I was worried. I was like,
Roger,
are we
Roger.
never gonna see her again?
No.
I turned it into a me thing. 'cause That's
Of course you did.
It's all about Scotty.
I do.
All
But
about
yeah,
Scotty.
good
What
luck
did
with
I
that, football
say?
wife.
What did I say or do to make football wife not come back? Oh, she put it out there. My sister has cancer. Say a prayer for her.
We will.
We
Yep.
absolutely will, and wish you the best in that. And hopefully she can recover from that. That's awful. So
Yep.
thanks for
100%.
hanging with us. Prayers for your sister. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cancer fucking sucks, Chris.
Yep. Cancer. Just fuck it. Fuck it.
I mean, can we figure this out? How do
there
we
was
not have the
I
cure for
there
cancer?
was like I was on TikTok and there was like a dude that really like I don't know why I get news off of TikTok, but there's this dude that like he was like, oh, there's a pill that like can take away certain types of cancers in like rats and stuff. It was a breakthrough. It was like a week and a half ago. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully that's a thing. Hopefully it's a thing for all of those people out there. So prayers out to everyone, especially battling those.
Thanks for sharing that, but honestly, prayers for your sister, and hopefully she can come out of that and be healthy and good again.
We always care about you guys. You guys are our family, so we always. If there's any way we can support any of you guys, let us know. Let us know in the Discord. DM us. Let us. But getting back to Miami, over under set at 9.5 wins, -110 either way. So this is pretty split in Vegas on whether or not they're going to get double-digit wins by the end of the season. All of it hinging basically on whether or not Tua is going to be able to stay healthy. But that doesn't change the fact. I mean, you have a great wide receiver core in Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Waddle actually went down with an injury, so obviously we're going to monitor that as we go into the NFL season, whether or not that's going to hold him back to for a certain period of time, or if that's going to be changing the way he plays. But Miami is a team that if a lot of people think if Tua stays healthy, this team could potentially come out with this division, and you could be getting some decent value at betting on this Miami team to, take it down. I don't know if I'm on that bandwagon. I think the Bills are still up there as one of my teams that I think are, still one of the best in the AFC, but that doesn't change the fact that this is one of the tougher divisions, and this Miami team is well coached. We've seen that. And they have a lot of personnel that can stack up against all the other teams in the AFC.
Miami's tough, man, to project. On one hand, Rec loves them, so I'm like, I'm out. I'm out on them.
Hey.
Obviously, they have the best 1-2 wide receiver core. Well, I mean, arguably in the league.
Arguably, yeah.
I would rank them 1-2, but there's a few like maybe Cincy that are close.
Like
Philly and
Philly.
Cincy are close, but I would take Tyreek and Jalen over those two teams, honestly. Tua's got to stay healthy. They got the great White Hope and Mike White behind him, so maybe that'll be all right. Listen, I think this is a popular team to bet on in Vegas. I think people like the talent in Vegas or for this team. I think people want to bet on them. You add your favorite DC and Vic Fangio, Chris, to this defense. That's a big. I mean, obviously hasn't proven himself as a head coach, but he's a good DC, especially initially when he moves to a new team.
Yeah.
When he moves to a new team, the first couple years he's really good. It maybe gets progressively worse, but it's obviously they lose Jalen Ramsey for all, if not most, of the season. And that hurts in that offseason trade they picked up. They made a terrible trade for a first round pick for your boy Bradley Chubb. Don't understand that one at all.
I mean, I was ecstatic when we got what we got for Bradley Chubb.
Yeah, that should have been like a third round pick.
And then you gave it away.
And then ish. Yeah.
Yeah. But super talented team. Tyreek Hill, when Tua was healthy, was wide receiver 1, actually, I think, in the NFL as far as fantasy goes, for the first half of the year. But there's so many question marks with Tua's health, with the concussions. Everyone loves Mike McDaniel's pressers, and I think he is a good coach. But are we sure he's a great coach yet? Let's pump the brakes. He's super entertaining and he's engaging. But that doesn't make someone a great coach.
Well, we did kind of see some cracks in the armor in the playoffs, right? Or down the stretch
not really.
Not the playoffs, but
that was Skylar Thompson. They were doing good with Skylar.
They played great against Buffalo in the playoffs.
I mean, didn't they? Wasn't there a couple of missed things that he didn't? I don't know. There was some game clock issues.
The camera didn't miss him vaping. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyways,
which I don't really care about. But everyone loves his interviews. They're anointing him, and I'm like, I think he is a good coach, and I'm not saying he can't be great, but him being entertaining and a presser is not a reason to love a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, well.
Let's chill a little bit.
Well, we saw kind of what he put.
Rec fell full hook, line, and sinker. He's picking the Dolphins solely based off of the
No, it's
entertainment
not.
factor in the pressers.
Can't confirm. Nope. Can't confirm that's not
I mean,
true.
he had
Well,
his.
who's your source?
My source is me.
Oof, that's a bad source. That's a rough
Can't
source.
trust that one. Can't trust that one.
I was gonna say like a roster, at very least roster wise. I like this team more than Buffalo. I think they have a better roster overall than the Bills do. And it's at this point, it's really going to come down to coaching. It's also going to come down to Tua's health.
Yeah, well,
If Tua's healthy, there's a really good chance this team wins the division. Again, that's a big if.
when you say you like the roster, I might not disagree with that in essence, but even if Tua is healthy, the quarterback play, there's a separation there. And that's the most important. I don't care. Everyone talks about like who has the best roster. How many years have the Chiefs over the past 5 years been viewed as the best roster in the league?
Well,
Zero?
and I would say the Chiefs didn't have the best roster last year. I mean, obviously,
No,
but-
they haven't had their best roster ever.
Yeah, and so from that
Best
standpoint,
roster only goes so far. You need.
You also
the elite
have to,
quarterback play.
You also have to remember that the Dolphins only lost one game, maybe when Tua finished the game. Like it's one of those things where they have such a good roster that you don't have to be the best quarterback to lead the team somewhere.
can you imagine if they had an
Tua-
elite quarterback, like a
Yeah.
top
If
three
they would have
quarterback?
drafted Justin Herbert instead of Tua,
Like, can you imagine?
that'd be
I'm not saying a
insane.
lot.
That'd be
Going off topic a
insane.
bit, but I honestly think Herbert was more of a product of the quarterback coach he was under. Big fan of Pep Hamilton.
So you think with one of the viewed as best offensive coordinators in the league going over to the Chargers, he's going to be worse this year?
Oh, for the Chargers? No, like Pep Hamilton left a few years ago, but he still continued to develop. And I think Herbert's still gonna be good in LA, but we'll get to that later, of course.
Herbert's talent level is leaps and bounds above Tua's.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's insane.
Chairman in the chat, McDaniel's pressures don't make him a great coach, but they do make me want him to win. Yeah, it's fair too.
Which is why you should publicly bet against the Dolphins, because most people agree with you on that. They want the Dolphins to win because the coach is so likable.
Yeah, but again,
It's so
like the
entertaining.
team as
And
a
the
whole
team
is
is
just
fun.
so good.
Are they?
But like I said, like you even said, like you don't even entirely disagree with me that they're better.
I mean,
they're better than the Bills.
I don't know that their defense is. I mean,
Well, I mean, they have Eli Apple as they're currently on the depth chart as their starting right corner, which obviously we know how that ends up panning out over the course of the
he's going to
season.
start.
I mean, who's behind him? Cam Smith, and then I don't know.
Smith,
their
and
their
then-
defensive line. I know Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb are supposed to produce, but like I don't see a great pass rush there.
Who's that guy in the middle? Wilkins?
Wilkins is good. Wilkins is out. Wilkins, Howard, and Ramsey are there. In Hall, I like Javon Holland at safety. Outside of that, I don't know why they made the trade for Bradley Chubb.
And then they
gross.
have a
Brad-
big Fangio at DC, as we mentioned earlier, so that's going to be a boost to the defense.
Bradley Chubb he was a bust when he was in Denver, in my opinion. Cuban, we're not answering that question.
What
Wait,
question
I'll
is it?
answer it. Who's the best
Stop.
QB in Herbert's division?
Herbert.
Which division is he in?
You're getting baited. You're getting baited, Scotty, and don't take the bait.
Let's see. He's in the same division as Jimmy Garoppolo,
Super Bowl champion Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson, and Blaine Gabbert. I kind of got to go with Herbert here.
I'd probably take Blaine. If I had to.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at a weakness for this Miami team, I think you're looking at, you have Xavier Howard in the back end, but Eli Apple, I think you have some. If you're looking at the secondary, it's not going to blow you away. And then you have some decent, okay, average players, like the linebacker and up front. I mean, I wouldn't say that again. Bradley Chubb is if he's your main dude, Now, again, this could change with Vic Fangio. That's the wild card that I just don't know how that's going to actually end up transforming this maybe mediocre defense into a maybe above average defense. So that's where I don't know. I just don't know what to expect. This is like the big question mark in this division.
I would love, as a Chiefs fan, to play the Dolphins in the playoffs. They'll be in over their head, and we'll beat the shit out of them. We'll beat the shit out of them.
You're gonna have to use those running backs to take the ball out of the Kansas City Chiefs' hands or something, because I mean, and they do. They have Raheem Mostert. They have Jeff Wilson. Whatever.
So they have. So
I can never say the dude's name.
Mostert's not going to be healthy for the playoffs. We know that.
And then Myles Gaskin, I think, is on that depth chart at some level. I mean, they have a few guys that
like running back 5.
He's.
I feel like they just got someone else too. Didn't they recently get another running back? I'll check. But
I can't remember.
They drafted one, I think.
Let me see.
And then they have
Dolphins.
And then they also have the second best quarterback as a receiver on the planet in Cedric Wilson Jr. So, I mean, they always have that as an option behind. I think isn't Mike White and Skylar Thompson still backing up there?
Yeah, Mike White second, Skylar Thompson third.
Mike White's never backed up there because he was with the Jets. But yes, now he's the backup.
Jets are still the Jets. Just will Aaron.
I would argue they might be better with Mike White than Tua, actually. Maybe I like him more than I thought because I don't think Tua is very good.
Jets are still the Jets. Just will Aaron, Mid, Rodgers, and then Miami will Tua. I get concussions, Tagovailoa, and then you have Patriots with Mid Mac. Ooh,
where if you just had to off the cuff rank Tua as a quarterback, starting quarterback in the league, 32 teams, where do you rank him?
You talking to chat?
Everybody.
Anybody and everybody.
I would put him in the
I'd say maybe top
late
10.
teen. I'd put him in the mid-teens to late teens, maybe.
Just grab the bat without thinking. Without going in.
He can't even see the top 10.
I would put him in I would probably see him in the 16, 17 range. Nick says 17.
To me, he's closer to 20. There's no arm strength. There's lack of reads. He has incredible talent around him and a good head coach that helps him a ton. As a quarterback, isolated, Tua's in the 20s. No doubt.
I guess the question you have to ask yourself is if you put Tua on a team I don't know, if you put him on the Bears or the Saints or the Bucks, how good would Tua be? I don't think we'd be talking about him in the top 20.
We weren't talking about him in the top 20 until last year when they added Tyreek after taking Jalen Waddle the year before.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing with the Jalen Hurts too.
Tua's a one read, get the ball out guy. He's decently accurate, but the arm strength isn't great. The deep ball's not great. Everything else sucks. Tua's not top 20. Not even close.
Crazy. Well, so with that being said, where do you, as of right now, not your official prediction, because we're going to do those next week, but where do you think, when it comes to the Miami Dolphins, are they the second best team? Are they the third best team?
Well, you already know where I got them.
I mean, Rex got them winning the NFL, the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
AFC East.
They're not winning the Super Bowl.
They're winning the Super Bowl.
No.
I think this team, it's so tight in the AFC, and I'm kind of down on the Bills a little bit, which might be good for the Bills, quite frankly. People were high on the Bills last year, and they kind of
throw a poll in the chat. Where do the Miami Dolphins finish?
I think they're probably. There's so much variable there, but they could finish anywhere from first to, frankly, fourth. But likely 1 through 3. They're right there. I don't know. I like the roster. I like their coach. I don't love their quarterback.
What up?
We'll
Given
see.
given my gut feeling about the Jets being like the Mets of the NFL, I mean, I guess right now my gut feeling says second. Maybe my prediction changes next week when we start doing our official predictions. But at this point, if Tua, they can keep him upright, which I don't know if I can believe that. I feel like they can finish second in this division.
I picked in our preseason predictions the Dolphins to make the playoffs last year, Chris.
You did.
And sure enough, they did. So-
Polls up. Vote. Where do the Dolphins finish? First, second, third, or fourth?
Cuban, anywhere from first to fourth. It's a hot take, Cuban. It's spicy hot.
Spicy.
They won't finish fifth,
You can't
and they
handle
won't
the
finish
truth.
higher than first, for sure.
This team, they can finish anywhere. It doesn't really matter. They're not even real.
But
I mean,
am telling you,
they're not even real.
I mean, you got the sound drop in.
Not real.
Had to fit in the new sound drop because
Yeah,
why not?
it's not even listed on the thing unless
gotta
you have it on your
do-
soundboard.
I'm gonna do a code yellow again.
Code yellow
Alright.
for Scotty. All right, so we have covered the Jets and the Dolphins. Keep voting. Vote. This is going to be over quickly. But let us know because I want to know. I'm curious on what you guys think. No one's got him fourth. That's saved for looks like Mac Jones, which we can dive
Yeah.
into next. Mac Jones and the New England Patriots. Let's dive into the.
I got a hot take on Mac Jones and the Patriots.
Yeah. Well, ew. Man, Nick's like, nah. I'm. That's not my jam.
Yeah.
He's like New England Patriots. Like, I mean, huh?
Yeah, hot take. Mac Jones gets so much shit. There's things that are not his fault, and it will continue this year.
Well, I think the problem with Mac Jones is the Patriots in general. I just think they're kind of like that dysfunctional, like, you ever have that dysfunctional, like, relative that, like, you just know
Yes.
they never have their shit together. Like, back in the day, they were like Uncle Joey was the best, but now he's kind of gotten older and he's kind of kooky, And now he's kind
Yeah.
of like not exactly the same dude that he used to be, but he's still like fun, but not all there. That's kind of like the Patriots here in this scenario. They're extreme couponers now, and like they're just trying to find everybody valuable, like of value. And I feel like they're doing that way too much now. Back when they had like a good quarterback like Tom Brady, and they had some infrastructure around them, it was fine because they could say, oh, they can make up for it, with quarterback play if they have some deficiencies in other areas. They can afford to take some discounts in other areas. Whereas now you don't have that luxury as a New England Patriots team. Like, they went out and they got Zeke Elliott this past week. And it's like, all right, you got Zeke. I get that. They got him for cheap, which I get that too. You don't want to overpay a running back. I understand that. But at the same time, you get what you pay for, right? Like, you already have a running back there. So, like, you have...
Zeke's gonna be a backup.
Yeah, I mean, Zeke's going to be... It's fine. And it's whatever. But, like, for me, the Patriots, they just can't afford to do what they normally do based off of the fact that they just don't have the personnel to hang with anybody else, especially in division as good as the AFC East. They're just the kooky uncle now. That's it.
It doesn't help that that Belichick has gone from trying to go out and find the best coaches to now just hiring his friends. He's not getting coaches, he's getting friends.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard any of my takes, Scotty, but
I did not.
no. So
The Patriots are bad.
no.
Patriots are the kooky uncle.
The Patriots, used to be that like great uncle that you used to love hanging out with, and they were great. Like you'd love spending time with them, and they're fun, and this and that. And then that uncle gets a little older and a little weirder, and now he's like that kooky uncle that no one really trusts or wants to hang out with because, like, oh man, it doesn't have it all together anymore. And now they're just kind of like, what are they even doing now? Like they're They're saving money when they can't afford to. Like, you don't have the personnel. Like, back when you had Tom Brady and a good quarterback, had the ability to, save money in certain areas and be like stream coupon style type whatever. Like, you could let go of guys before you had to pay them. Now you don't have that luxury because you don't have the quarterback to make up for those deficiencies that you have across your roster, that you're saving money on all these different positions and this and that. And I'm just like, I don't understand like the process or what they're, that last year they had a defensive coordinator running the offense. What happened to Chris's uncle? I only have one kooky uncle. That's all.
Yeah, and then the assistant offensive coordinator was a special teams guy.
Yeah, like they're just making decisions that I'm just like, I just don't understand where these are coming from. You sign Zeke, you're saving money on that. Like, what does that mean? You get what you pay for. Go out and pay for some dudes. If you want to compete in this division with the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins, go out and pay some dudes. Make some big splashes. Make some big trades. Because right now, you're mid and you're playing with a mid quarterback with a low ceiling and a decent floor, but low ceiling. They're just not it.
They made a lot of splash signings last offseason, Chris. Splash in the sense of I wasn't thrilled with them, but they were like, oh, they're paying a lot of money to Hunter Henry or
Johnny.
They're like the Rockies. They make splashes, but they don't mean anything.
Yeah, this roster is.
He's like, yeah.
Mac Jones is not good. Shut your mouth. I was just saying the roster isn't great. I didn't say anything about the Rockies. The Rockies roster is elite. Don't worry about it. But you have Mac Jones throwing to Juju, Devontae, and Tyquan Thornton, who I don't know. It just doesn't throw. They add Mike Gesicki, who apparently they hate in preseason work. Hunter Henry is still going to be their starter. Then why add Mike Gesicki? We're not.
They wait Johnny for a seventh. They would go to the. They have full personnel.
I like that they got Christian Gonzalez in the first round of the draft out of Oregon in the corner. Where they did, that's going to work out, I think, really, really well for them. I like Matthew Judon. Dietrich Wise is pretty good. Outside of that, like even the defense, I'm just kind of like, is this defense good? I don't know that his defense is good. This is clearly on paper. If this team makes the playoffs, you could argue this is the best head coaching job Bill Belichick's ever done.
100%. Well, and
this team sucks.
Also, the Patriots always invest way more into their defense than they do their offense. They're always trying to build defense, i.e. Hashtag Green Bay Packers. But Cuban, Rocky's out here catching strays. Yeah. By the way, that's one of my favorite terms of all time.
Catching strays.
Oh, like you're just like hanging out talking about something, and all of a sudden it's like you hear your name, and it's like, why am I catching strays? Like, what is going on?
Just someone's getting insulted for no reason.
Rec weirdly is like, thanks for Matt Holliday and Nolan Arenado. How many World Series did that create for you?
Matt Holliday won us a World Series, 2011.
No, he didn't.
But he was part of that World Series team, so thanks for that.
He was on the team. He didn't win you shit.
He was a starter, starting left fielder.
You put him in left. That's gutsy.
Well, what the hell else were we going to put him?
Well,
DH?
Either way.
I know. I'm joking. Anyway, let's get back to football.
Yeah. So New England Patriots again. Mac Jones, Ramondre Stevenson.
Forgot about Larry. There's Larry Walker.
There's Larry Walker.
Nice.
Juju is on this. Like you mentioned, they made some signings, but I feel like just none of them really will pan out for any success this season. Go out. They need to just start shifting things out, and it's looking more and more like my prediction a couple years ago, my hot take, which isn't a hot take anymore, of like there's a chance that Bill Belichick, before he retires, is not going to make the playoffs as the New England Patriots head coach. And whether or not Robert Kraft is going to keep him there based off of just the name and what he's done versus what I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, but when it's all said and done, I just don't see them having a lot of success in a division that's as stacked as this one.
I don't even know why Belichick's coaching at this point. Like, clearly he has like a fear of the unknown. Because, like, what do you have to prove? With this roster, you're not winning shit. You're only hurting your reputation at this point. He should just move on at this point.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my opinion. Now, is he a good coach? Of course he's a great coach. He's one of the best to ever do it. But, like, I don't know what you do with this roster to make it competitive in a division where you're the least talented on paper by far in this division, in my mind. You're the worst quarterback, and then the worst talent around that quarterback. Like, there's only so much you can do. So, I think it's
surround yourself with buddies instead of coaches.
Yeah, like his when you look up their DC is Steve Belichick and Jared Mayo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's both of them. So there's two DCs? Like, what is that?
And then apparently Belichick acts as another one, so it's like a DC by committee between the three of them.
That seems great. And then you bring on Bill O'Brien.
Congratulations.
You must hate yourself, Bill. Bill, for all his great coaching acumen, can't. I mean, he's loyal to a fault to like coaches that shouldn't be there. It's worked out for him.
He bought in too much to the coaching tree. His coaching tree.
His coaching tree isn't even good.
His coaching tree is a disaster.
Like the only one that was any sort of quality is Brian Flores. And of course, there's that disaster with Miami.
And there's that whole situation.
We don't speak to that lawsuit in case we get involved with that. We don't want to be a part of that lawsuit.
Real quick in the chat, Bill should retire and coach like Florida State or something. Get a beach house, hang out. He's already got the short sleeve hoodies. Yeah, that's true.
Just move on, Bill.
Just retire, man. Go either Arizona or Florida, one of the two. You can just kind of just go out, enjoy some warm weather, and just call it a career. Be done. You're good. You did what you had to do.
He's wearing short sleeves in Massachusetts all year, so he might be comfortable in the cold. Like, go move to Canada or something.
He may not want warm weather. I think he likes to fish, maybe? I think he likes to fish.
Well, he could go catch lobsters. Catch lobsters on the Massachusetts Sea.
Maybe.
I would eat those lobsters if he catches them.
Let's dive into the Buffalo Bills, the favorites to win this division and one of the top favorites to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Over under set 10.5 wins, over -134, which means that's the betting favorite whether or not it's going to go over or under. Everyone's thinking, Vegas is thinking they'll get to 11 wins. So that being said, we have this team who it's weird because they're very good, but yet I feel like they're in a weird place where they almost feel like they don't have many years left in their window to make something happen. Like, it just feels like the best years are behind them. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. Just a vibe that I have. Now,
it's not a vibe, it's just fact.
And if they don't get anything done here in this year or next, they might not ever, because this is one of those make or break seasons where I think you have a lot of optimism. And that being said, they're in a tough division. They're in a tough conference. So there's a lot they have to kind of navigate as they make it through the AFC. But Scotty, what are your thoughts on the Bills to go into the season?
I mean, the Bills were everyone's pick last year, right? Like, they won the Super Bowl prior to the season. I don't even know why we played the year, quite frankly. They had already won. And they didn't handle that well. I mean, they look so bad against the Bengals in that playoff game that they lost.
You mean the Bills?
So bad. The Bills.
Yeah.
Against the Bengals.
Yes.
Thanks for the non-needed correction. Correct.
I bandwidth somewhere entirely. Don't mind me.
Yeah, we don't. Well, I mean, we mind you quite a bit, but anyway, going back to this team, I mean, what did they add?
Not much.
Like maybe Dalton Kincaid as like a tight end 2 as a weapon.
Offensive guard Osiris Torrance. They added
whatever,
right? Like, yeah. I mean, it's a little bit of depth there.
You have a wide receiver 1 and Stephon Diggs that is clearly upset.
That's an issue
for some reason.
That's an issue.
Like there's issues there. Like Stephon seems to have the elite wide receiver curse that has befallen a lot of wide receivers in the league, and he's upset for no reason at all, maybe, but he's still upset, and that matters. This team, like, you're relying on like a pass rush that, like, Von Miller coming off another big injury at his age. Like, can we rely on Von at some point? I don't know. Tre'Davious White isn't who he used to be at corner. Poyer and Micah Hyde is a good safety core, but was better 2 years ago. Like, this team is not as good as they were 2 years ago on paper, because they haven't adjusted the roster. They just kind of been like, let's keep going with these same guys as they age. It doesn't matter. This is our window. Let's keep the same team intact. They haven't adjusted a lot. Almost to a fault.
I will say, they do. So, all right. So obviously Josh Allen's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's in that top tier. James Cook has shown a lot of promise. We both were high on him in our pre-fantasy focus rankings. I think he could have a big year. Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. I think Gabe Davis, you buy stock low on him, given the fact that, he could be a big threat for Josh Allen downfield, knowing that, they've kind of missed a little bit of that on the other side of Stephon Diggs. So Khalil Shakir is kind of adding some depth there as well. Obviously, there's some things to get excited about on that front. But, yeah, I kind of just, even that all being said, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, little tight end, core there. I think there's talent here. When I look across the landscape of everyone else and you're saying, oh, like, do they stack up against teams like the Chiefs? And we've classified the Bills as one of the best teams in the AFC and the entire NFL. But when I'm stacking them up and I'm just like, would you pick them to beat the Chiefs in one game in the playoffs? Given the circumstances of what we've seen recently and what we have coming into the season, I can't say that. So that's what's holding me back of like, yeah, they're great. And they have a thing where they have like, I think their defense is fine. They're getting again back. You have Kyrie Elam, Tre'Davious White off that injury. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me given the fact that, like, as good as they're going to be, and they're going to be in contention at the very end, I don't know if I trust them to beat some of those big teams in the AFC.
This is not their best team they've ever had. They're on a downturn based off the hype they received coming into last year. Remember, 2 years ago, they played that epic game in the playoffs against the Chiefs. And for whatever reason, they lost that game, but then the hype was the Bills are the best team in the league moving forward, even after losing that game. It's fine, Chris. We know what happened after that. There's no salt because we won the Super Bowl. Could care less.
Salty.
So zero salt there. But, like, it was just an interesting idea. Like, everyone's just like, oh, this is the Bills' time. Because you always want to find the next team that's going to make that leap, right? Like, you want to find the team that hasn't got there yet. And the Bills are, like, a lovable team that hasn't got it done. They're a small market, but, like, you want to, in essence, cheer for the Bills if you don't have a team in the race, right? Like, the Bills are likable. They're likable. But this roster isn't as good. It's just not. The offensive line is average at best. James Cook, who I like, still is unproven and didn't produce like I thought he would as a rookie. So I could be wrong. I almost never am, but I could be.
And I don't know. We don't need to get it twisted. They're gonna most likely win this division. Like that.
If you give me the other 3 teams against the Bills,
You mean Bills with the
even
field?
odds, yeah,
You'll take the field?
I'd probably take the field.
I'm with you, Scotty.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Keep close. Bills have that same thing that the Nuggets had prior to this year, though. Yes and no. I feel like the
Nuggets weren't healthy for a while.
Well, the Nuggets weren't healthy, but then also the Nuggets were very well a close team, whereas you have issues with Diggs, like having issues with
What?
given this team is you don't see too many star wide receivers causing this kind of fuss on a really good team that's a Super Bowl caliber team. When's the last time you saw something like that happen where it's like, you have a chance to win a Super Bowl and one of your best players is like pissed off and this and that, and he don't know where his head's at. Typically when you're winning, everything is good. So the fact that things aren't good with one of your best players is a cause for concern. Nuggets never had like those locker room issues if we're cross-referencing those types of parallels. But yeah, those are weird red flags for me when it comes to the Bills.
You also gotta look at the. Remember, like they lost to the Bengals in the second round. They only got to the second round because they were going up against a third-string quarterback in the first round. And they almost lost. They played horribly against Skylar Thompson and the Dolphins.
Yeah, they could have lost that game.
Yeah. Bills could move one piece and win it all. Bills gonna take a step back this year, in my opinion, says Bush. Skylar Thompson to go.
The only real hype going into this season is DeMar Hamlin coming back, and how quickly is that going to die out? Like after his first few drives?
Well, I mean, he's still, like I said, I posted a meme in our Discord of like, oh, is DeMar Hamlin? Is this a clone or is this the real dude? And it's like, it was one of those memes of, dude, the NFL still has old dudes holding sticks to measure first downs, and you think they're going out of their way to clone a guy that's fighting for a roster spot? Probably not. But yeah, I mean, that's a whole story as well. Obviously, big story from last year coming into this year. Whether or not that's going to, I mean, I don't think that's going to move the needle for this team necessarily. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun story. Overall, I mean, I think this is going to be one of my favorite divisions to watch. I mean, again, we've talked about each of these teams. You can make an argument for why they could win and be perfectly fine in your argument. And you could also say why they won't even come close to winning, and you could be fine in that argument too. That's what's crazy about this one. Like, I can make an argument for the Dolphins to win it. I can make the argument for Dolphins could finish last in this division. Same thing with the Jets. Patriots and Bills, maybe not so much, actually. But yeah, crazy. Anything else you want to add here, Scotty, in the AFC East?
I'm supposed to, Nick says in the chat, Scott, look at me with a straight face and say that the Jets, Dolphins, and Patriots are a threat to the Bills in this division. So, Nick, look at me, okay? Mm-hmm. The Jets and the Dolphins are a legitimate threat. And I didn't say Patriots on purpose, but a legitimate threat to this Bills team that hasn't really achieved anything. What have the Bills achieved? For all the years they've been good, recently they made one conference championship game, lost by a lot to the Chiefs, and since then haven't made a conference title game. Why are we crowning this Bills team as something epic? I think
it's a really good thing Valley's not here today.
These other teams are going to be right there. And that's not to say the Bills can't. The Bills could win the Super Bowl this year, and it wouldn't shock me. It would not shock me. Bills are good. Don't get me wrong. but they got to prove it. They got to prove it, and there are other talented teams. I mean, this on paper is the best division in football, Chris. So it's not going to be easy. They somehow Brady leaves the division and it becomes great when for years that division sucked when Brady was in it. The Patriots were good and everyone else sucked.
Yeah.
It was almost like a contract that was signed between Brady, the Patriots, the NFL, and all the teams in the AFC East. Like, we agree to suck for every year you're on this team. And they did it. They did it triumphantly. The Bills sucked, the Jets sucked, the Dolphins sucked for so many years.
Yeah.
So many years.
I mean, we're saying this is one of the better divisions, and then we said that about
it's the best.
We're saying this about we said that about the AFC West, and we all
everyone did
overshot what that division actually ended up being. Nick, okay, what has the Jets done? What has Miami done?
They've done nothing. They've done nothing. But on paper, you have a Jets team that was great defensively. You add Aaron Rodgers to that team. And maybe not the elite Aaron Rodgers, but you add, they had awful quarterback play last year. So the Jets have to make a jump. The Dolphins were neck and neck talent with the Bills last year, and obviously had some concussion issues with their starter. So the Buffalo Bills probably should be the favorite on the sole idea of their quarterbacks never got hurt. Josh Allen's he's going to play every game. He's a big human being. He doesn't get injured. He's healthy and he stays healthy all the time. And he's still the best quarterback in this division. Don't get me wrong. The Bills have the best QB in this division, bar none.
Bills, in my opinion, exemplify what Pat Mahomes would have been without Andy Reid. I'm not saying the Bills are Super Bowl champs. Just don't see the Bills losing this division. Jets are super overhyped. It's full of we don't knows. Yeah, I think you're right there. I think, and every team that gets onto Hard Knocks always gets a little bit extra like hype going into a season. So you have that as well. Ben, what's going on, Ben? Welcome in. Aaron Rodgers is the best QB in the division.
Nope. Best.
I would say he's. No. I would take him over Jones. I would take him over Tua.
Him over Mac.
I'd take him over Tua.
I would take him over Tua and Mac Jones. I don't know if I'd take him over.
Allen's still the best quarterback.
You don't take him over Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah. He's. I would say second best, based off of that.
Who was it that talked about Mahomes is, or who was it? Josh Allen is who Mahomes is without Andy Reid. Someone said that, and Andy Reid is great. Don't get me wrong, but how many Super Bowls did Andy Reid make or win without Mahomes?
He won Super Bowl without Mahomes.
He made one Super Bowl and lost it.
Yep, the Patriots.
Yeah.
And now with Mahomes, he's made 3, won 2. So who's the big factor there? I'm not saying that Andy Reid isn't great. He is, but come on. Mahomes is the dude.
Okay. So, by the way, guys, if you guys are just joining, there are I just put all of our contests, super contests, our Pick'em, and our Survivor all in the chat. Join those. Those are free, and you can win cool ActionLab prizes from our store if you win. So make sure you join in, have fun with us, hit that follow button, and then join our Discord because that's where you're going to have all of the fun with us as we play all of these contests throughout the course of the season. Exclamation point Discord in the chat. There you go. All right. So, that being said, we still have to get to our coming in hot here. So I think we put a wrap on the AFC East preview. This Sunday, we are going to get to the spiciness. Spicy. We got the West Division, Scotty. NFC and AFC West. And we're going to have some fun. You can talk about Mahomes all you want while we're talking about this AFC West Division because it's actually part of what the show is, focused on. So That being said, you guys on the chat can all, do what you want with that information. But we have a big show coming up Sunday talking about AFC, NFC, both interesting divisions. I have some interesting thoughts, actually, about the NFC and maybe some hot takes about the NFC West. A lot of people are crowning the 49ers, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm jumping on that bandwagon quite as much as I thought I would be. So we'll talk about those. I'll just tease you with that.
You must love the starting quarterback play in Seattle.
Gino.
Bruh.
Let's just say
You can't handle
I can't handle the truth right now. Let's see. If you can't say something, it says you have to say something nice about Mahomes. What is the count at? Yeah, I mean,
I think the count's at like 5 or 6 at this point.
now
Pretty low.
Now you're
Pretty
just
low.
you're just baiting it. You're baiting it out to try
Pretty
to.
low.
Cuban had the over.
Purdy is better than Tua. I'm not a big Tua guy, but that's wrong.
I mean, Purdy
I'm not.
is a small sample size.
Purdy's gonna shit the bed this year.
But-
that's why I'm not high on San Fran.
Purdy had a nice stretch at the end.
So lucky at the end.
But-
There were so many plays that could have gone a very different direction. Purdy is not the answer.
But
Purdy sucks.
the issue is neither is Trey Lance potentially, and neither. I mean, none of
They don't. They don't have a QB.
they don't have.
I would actually, if they want to win a Super Bowl upside wise, Sam Darnold's their best bet.
Ooh, hot takes. Hot takes.
That won't work either. That won't work either. But like, who's the best thrower of the football on that team? By far, it's Sam Darnold. By far.
And let's just say
He's also an idiot. So there's that.
Kyle Shanahan will try to figure out who's the best option, but there aren't very many great ones that have proven over a course of a full season that they can be consistent enough. Like, I mean,
I saw something. I think Shanahan said something like Purdy has to be horrible in training camp and preseason to not be the starter. Like, he's 98% confirmed starting.
I promise you, Purdy is not good.
you heard it here
Maybe
first.
Shanahan covers it up and makes him look good. Purdy's worse than Garoppolo. Does anyone think Garoppolo's great?
Like,
mean,
Garoppolo is better as a better QB than Purdy will ever be.
And Garoppolo doesn't exactly have a lot of wins projected for the franchise he's currently with, i.e.
I'll
the
say
Raiders.
Well, that's also because the Raiders are terrible.
Calling
Well,
out on
true.
hot takes. Here's a hot take. Garoppolo is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy will ever be.
So for all you guys in the sports cards market, sell your Brock Purdy stock fast.
Keep close is like Purdy will win 10 games and I will be all over it, Scotty, when I'm right. They could win 10 games. That roster is really good. They could win 10 games with a shitty quarterback.
I mean,
Purdy
you could make that argument for
Purdy
someone you see
ain't
on this particular screen here, and Tua being surrounded by elite talent, carrying him a little bit. Where otherwise,
Purdy's not good. I promise you. People will figure him out. He made a lot of risky throws that worked out, which won't moving forward. Purdy ain't it.
Ben, that's not even a hot take. It's just the truth, to be honest. Did Mike Shanahan make the Hall of Fame? Off subject. I think Mike.
I would imagine.
I think he
so.
is.
He won a couple Super Bowls.
Yeah,
so
I think he
probably.
is.
Anyway, any coach that wins 2 Super Bowls is basically like already entered into the Hall, which he should be.
I just checked. They are not. They are somehow not in the Hall of Fame.
Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, Mike Shanahan is not in the NFL. Is not in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I think he'll maybe have. I don't know. Maybe. I think.
Apparently, Shanahan just missed the bid this past week to be a finalist.
Yeah.
Like, he's already off the ballot for this year.
On to the next.
I mean, I would love to find a list of 2-time Super Bowl champion coaches that aren't in the Hall of Fame. I bet it's Mike Shanahan and no one.
I mean, well, Belichick's not technically not in the Hall of Fame, or Andy
Okay.
Reid.
Well, that's wreck. There are rules to this. Okay.
People fell in love with Purdy like Jeremy Lin or Super Cooper. Yeah, 100%. What's up, Evil? How's it going? Tua is softer than cotton candy. Already had my hot take. Yeah. So there you go. Guys, all right, that's going to put a wrap on the AFC East.